Kia ora, I'm Erin J. Doyle. Welcome to my channel. Oh, my voice is getting its first use for the day, I see. It's currently 9 AM on Sunday the 18th, and so far this month I have put 16 hours into editing my Camino story. So I am a couple of hours behind, but it's Sunday, so I will catch up by the end of the day. Don't you worry. So theoretically, by the end of the day, I'll be back on schedule and all will be well. I'm currently working on trying to get that word count for chapter 2 down. It is still way too long, like more than double the length of the other chapters, so still whittling it down and whittling it down. So yeah, not a lot to report on that one. I did briefly jump to another chapter just to give myself a break, so I think basically what I've been doing, why did I say I think? I've been going through the chapter, doing everything I think I can do, going to a different chapter and doing something, and then going back to that same chapter and going, oh wait, actually I can also delete this. Because I think you can't stay focused on it long enough to get that amount of work done. You do have to kind of jump around a bit because it's so nitty gritty. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna get like, I don't know, we'll say an hour of work done, and then I might have that shower I've been meaning to have. And probably refilm this because I don't think it was very coherent. It's now about 1 o'clock. I wrote for a couple of hours, I think until about 11:30, 11:45-ish. Stopped to have a shower, have some lunch, popped down to the shop, did some, life stuff. So it's time to sit down and get back to it. What I'm currently trying to fix is a bit of a tricky one. While I've been editing, I've discovered an error that has appeared because of the edits that I've made. So my character has done very, very little research on the Camino, so that everything she does is a surprise, and obviously we get to learn what she learns as she goes. So that seems like a good sort of storytelling way of doing things. And I want to have her learning about the phrase Buen Camino. Originally, in the first draft, I had a scene, like quite a long scene, where on her first night on the Camino, she was having dinner with a whole bunch of other pilgrims, and they were saying Buen Camino as their toast. And then when she was walking on it, she was being greeted by people who would say the same thing, and she wouldn't quite know what to say in response, and she kind of learned that if a pilgrim greets you with Buen Camino and you are a pilgrim, you respond with Buen Camino. If a local says Buen Camino, and they will, like you'll be walking through a town and every local who passes you will say it if it's a very small town. In big cities, no. But yeah, they'll quite often say it as they pass you. And there, instead of wishing them Buen Camino or like a good walk or a good way, you instead just say gracias. So I needed to show what that phrase is and how it's used. So originally I had this dinner scene where everyone was using it as a toast, and then she was having people greet her with it, and now all of that's gone. It's just the phrase being used casually, and it doesn't have that learning curve for the character. And I've realised that currently the first person who says it in the book is her. which isn't quite right. So I need to put in something before that instance where somebody uses it, and it doesn't necessarily need to be a big learning curve thing for her, but I think someone else needs to say it, and there just needs to be like one sentence about what it is, or maybe I could make it something that she has read about in advance, and it could have her responding to it for that first time and being kind of excited about it. So I have to make that decision and figure out where I'm going to put it. God. I've always measured my progress when I'm writing by word count, so shifting to looking at time spent is really weird to me. Like, the other day I did a word sprint writing sprint, sorry. We did 3 sprints, and at the end of the first one I had written 16 words, but that was, you know, I had deleted a section, added a bit, shuffled around a paragraph, so it was just kind of a net gain of 16 words, but that wasn't that I had like only written 16, if that makes any sense. And then the next time I, you know, wrote 30 or something, and then the next time I had brought my word count down by 6, and I think overall by the time I actually got to the end, my beginning word count to my final word count was different by 1 word, but I'd been working for an hour, so it's interesting. It's quite hard to see where you've been, I think. I can see why people would like keep track with stickers on a calendar or something like that. So I guess keeping track of the time I'm spending on this is kind of being helpful, because it's making me feel like I'm actually doing something, because I don't have that word count measure. At least I know that I have been doing it for an hour. It's not quite as satisfying, but it still feels more productive than just sort of thinking, well, hang on, did I do anything on it today? I don't know. I think I looked at it. Who knows for how long? So, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop wombling. A lot of the stuff that I'm doing, I'm just rewriting things which are okay but could be kind of tightened, and I'm trying to make those tightened up areas do a little bit more. So for example, previously I had my character have a very, very brief encounter with a cyclist. So she got to the top of a hill and there were 2 people cycling up it right behind her. So when she got to the top, she stopped to put her pack down, have a bit of a rest, have a drink of water, and she watched the 2 cyclists. One got there first, they had a brief hello, and that was it. Then the second cyclist appeared and the 2 cyclists left together, and then the main character carried on walking. Like, super mundane, super minor, pointless to the story. So what I've done is make the cyclists further apart so that there's time for the main character to have a conversation with the first cyclist. So it's not, you know, a particularly important conversation, but it means that the fact that they've had an interaction actually matters, and like their conversation is doing something, but just something really minor, but more than their previous hello and that's it conversation was. So I'm feeling really good about the changes that I've made, even though my word count's exactly where it was. Admittedly, exactly where it was is still within the range that I wanted, because I want to keep it between 80 and 90,000, so that's still fine. I've also had a pondering about, not quite the ending, but like right before the ending, there's a thing which could happen, and I'm thinking more and more it should happen. Obviously I can't divulge because massive spoilers, because we're talking like last few pages kind of end the book. I think it should happen just so that certain things haven't just been completely forgotten and stopped being important. But to get it in there, I'm going to have to put in quite a few words, like probably a few pages. So I need to make sure that I've got room for it. Okay, I've just quickly double checked, so I've been mostly focusing on chapter 2, and even though I've added in dialogue with the cyclist, I've still managed to reduce the length of that chapter by 319 words. This is confusing, given that my overall total is the same. Obviously I've put work in other chapters and I just can't remember where right now. There's been some jumping around. But any progress that makes chapter 2 a little bit more interesting and less focused on the main character's conflict with the annoying antagonist, and anything that reduces chapter 2's length overall, is a good thing. So we're down by 300 words. I'm going to call that a great success for today. Realistically, I'm totally going to do more writing after dinner, but I'm going to say that's it for this video, because my neighbour's getting a bit rowdy and I don't want to have to edit out laughter and stuff. If you've enjoyed this video, perhaps consider giving it a like. If you're new around here, hit subscribe so you can stay up to date, and I'll see you next time. Bye! I'm getting distracted by my own screensaver that I can see. I can see this screen in the corner of that screen. Very, very distracting. I need to make those only suitable photos.